Everton 2, Liverpool 0. Massive result for Everton in the relegation battle and a massive defeat for Liverpool in the title race. Great result for us City fans. Arsenal fans will be happy with it as well. Remember when it was January and it was announced that Klopp was leaving and all the Liverpool fans were going on about how they're going to win the quadruple, where now they look like they're going to end up with an energy drink cup. And no one else in world football deserves this more than Liverpool, because they have the most arrogant fan base in world football. Whenever they win, it's unbearable. That's why no one wants you to win. And that's why everyone that's a non-Liverpool supporter supports every single club that plays against you. And everyone who's a Liverpool supporter goes on how good Klopp is, but he's only won one Premier League title in his entire time at the club. And everyone goes on about how much little he has to spend at Liverpool, but he's bought Núñez, he's bought Salah, he's bought Alisson, he's bought Fabinho, he's bought Van Dijk, he's bought Konate, he's bought Thiago, he's bought Mane since he's been there, he's bought Luis Diaz, he's bought Jota, he's bought McAllister, he's bought Szoboszlai. So don't keep pretending that Klopp's not had money to spend when he actually has. And he's nowhere near the level of Alex Ferguson. He's nowhere near the level of Pep Guardiola. And he's nowhere near the level of Jose Mourinho. And he's nowhere near the level of Carlo Ancelotti. He's in that bracket with Arsene Wenger and all the other managers, that sort of department. And you could argue that Wenger's better than Klopp. I know he hasn't won the Champions League, but at least he can say he's won the Premier League 3 times. And that's 2 more times than Jurgen Klopp. And they've won the league once in over 30 years. And that weren't even a proper season anyway, because when they actually lifted the title, there was no one there to see it in the stadium anyway, because obviously it was the lockdown. So their supporters under a certain age, haven't seen them actually lift a Premier League title. And they were floating in their mother's wound when they won a Premier League title prior to the last one in 2019. I'm not going to say that they're not a big club, because they still are a big club, but they're not up there with the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, teams like that. And you could argue that United are still the bigger club than them, because even though Liverpool's won the Champions League more times, United still have more Premier League titles. In the the same. Well, they have more than Liverpool in the Premier League era, and even though Liverpool won the league in 2019, in recent years, United's also won it 1 year in 2013, so they're level that way as well. So you could still argue that United is bigger than Liverpool, but how can Liverpool go from being in a race for a quadruple to now only possibly maybe winning a Carabao Cup? Because they've already won the Carabao Cup, but it doesn't look like they're going to win the league. Obviously, they can still win it, but they need a lot of results to go their way. And they also need City and Arsenal to either lose games or draw games between now and the end of the season. That's obviously possible, but I don't think City and Arsenal are going to lose or draw enough games that's going to allow Liverpool to get back in it. Because ever since Liverpool lost that game in the FA Cup to Man United, they've not been good since, really. And they've not been good since the international break from March. Since then, that's when they've been on a downward spell. But that United result in the FA Cup, I think it was around the 17th of March, something like that. Ever since then, they've been playing badly and getting poor results. And even before that, they were scraping it. So I remember when they got that late goal against Forest. So even before that game against United, it wasn't plain sailing for Liverpool. And this has been coming for quite a while for Liverpool. And I think it's between Arsenal and City now. Because obviously City play tomorrow at Brighton, which won't be an easy game, but I back us to get the job done. But who do Liverpool even play next? I don't know. Is it like West Ham or someone? Because I know they've still got to play West Ham and I know they've still got to play Villa. But that's the first time that Everton have beaten Liverpool at Goodison Park in 13 years. Obviously, they've got quite a few draws in that time. I think there's been quite a few 0-0s and stuff like that. But that's the first time that Everton have beaten Liverpool at their ground in 13 years. Everyone goes on about how Everton haven't won a trophy for a long time. I think, was it 1985, something like that? But they are bigger than clubs like West Ham, Aston Villa. And there's an argument that they're on level par with Spurs. But maybe you could argue that they're bigger than Spurs because they've got more league titles than Spurs. And it looks like they're going to be in the Premier League for another season, which is massive because they couldn't have afforded financially to go down because they've got the new stadium coming, Brandley Moor Dock, so them staying up will be absolutely huge. And I do like Everton, even though they're still kind of connected to Liverpool because they're in the same city as Liverpool. I don't really dislike them if you get what I mean, because they've done us quite a few favours in the past. I know they did get that draw at the Etihad last season where I was there, but it was still a good day because I met David James on that day. But they did us a favour against Arsenal last year. Yeah, I know we went on to lose to Spurs the following day, but it was still a game where Arsenal ended up losing out on points because of Everton, and they've done us a favour tonight with taking off points of Liverpool. That Brantwaite's quite good, to be fair. I don't think he's at that sort of a level with the Arsenals, the Cities, Liverpool, stuff like that. But he could definitely start for a Man United, a Newcastle, a West Ham, a Tottenham, teams like that, Chelsea. And there's quite a few players that could get into teams like that in Everton. It's only maybe that Onana in midfield that could maybe get on to a top 6 teams bench or something like that. Well, not a top 6 teams bench, but what I mean by that is he could maybe get onto the City bench or the Arsenal bench or the Liverpool bench. I think he's quite good, Onana, in midfield for them. Calvert-Lewin, I have said in the past that he is overrated, but I did think he did play quite well tonight because Virgil van Dijk and Konate couldn't handle him, and he caused them problems the whole night, really. So, massive result for Everton. I was going to do my preview for the Brighton City game, but because I know I did talk about it yesterday, but I normally do a Pacific video on the City games as a preview, but because the time I was getting around to doing it, it was near the kickoff to Everton against Liverpool, I decided not to do it. So I'm going to do that tomorrow at some point. Maybe like sort of like afternoon time. And I thought Pickford played well tonight as well. He made quite a few good saves. But one thing about Pickford is he's very inconsistent. Like some of the time he can have a worldie, sorry. But then other times he can have absolutely a few clangers in him. So he's up and down goalkeeper. He's probably the best out of a bad bunch of goalkeepers that England have got, but yeah. I don't really know what to say about Pickford. Quite inconsistent, to be fair. But because of experience, I expect him to be the number one goalkeeper for England at the Euros. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Well done to Everton. Up the toffees. And I will see you guys for another video tomorrow. Go on, Everton. Come on, City.